Whenever you're ready.
Okay, we are good.
Hey. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much again, Nia, for hosting and giving us a place, a platform to be able to support people through all these craziness that's happening. Thank you all who were here last time for coming back, and to the new people. It's fun to see you here. I talked about some of this last time, but I'm just going to give a kind of a brief recap for our new people. I approached Nia because I felt that there was a need for information about what's happening energetically. I feel like there's so much happening right now. And there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of fear happening. It's kind of hard to know what to believe. You get a lot of different information all the time. And so I felt like if I could explain to people what was happening energetically through astrology and numerology, that it would be helpful, because the more information people have, the better you feel. Hopefully to provide people some stability or some sense of peace. But also give people tools, as I'm a coach. And so I have lots of tools, and I always want to share them with everyone. So I'm like, oh, if she would just do this, I think this would really help her. So I wanted to share some things. But as you all know, we've been in just huge, huge energies. So much change. We just made it through these big, huge eclipses. Last weekend we had a huge one, and it was all about clearing and letting go. And so over the last week, you may be feeling sad. I know for me, I was just watching just some regular shows, and I just find myself crying about everything. And so through the last eclipses, it was all about purging, lots and lots of purging. It dug deep. And so it was about, release. This last one is about release. It's about ending cycles. It's about ending. It's about completing things. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because nobody's moving. So I thought, oh no, the internet is glitching out. Everybody's completely still. So I thought, oh no, no one can hear me. But anyway, so we're kind of in this weird place right now. We're in this void place because we just got through a lot of purging, probably still feeling some of that. And new energies are coming in, new start energy is coming in. But we're kind of in this void place right now where we don't really know how things are going to unfold. And we're really in this place of just connecting and trusting. And it's about, honoring where you are, going within. Cancer energies are very big right now, so it's all about going within and trusting. Have a lot of energy in Aries. Mars is in Aries right now, and so is Chiron. And this Mars energy really wants us to move forward. But again, we have these Cancer energies that are saying, no, not yet. It's time for you to just go within. But the Mars energy or the Aries energy wants us to move forward. We also have a lot of energy in Capricorn, which wants us to plan and have a plan and get our ducks in a row. And so right now, again, we don't really know, so we can't really plan. So there's this kind of like pressure to move forward. But we're really just being asked to trust and honor ourselves. The interesting thing that's coming in though with Mars and Chiron. Chiron is a comet, and it's actually labeled the wounded healer. And so it can bring up ways that we give our power away. And it's partnering right now with Aries. And Aries is about the self and about power. And it's about our self-identity. So a lot of things are going to be coming up around that. Starting now. And so, as we go within, how do we want to show up? What do we want our lives to look like? So we're in this void right now, figuring that out. So then when it's time to actually move forward, we'll have more clarity. We'll have more understanding of what's happening. So we're completely supported in doing that right now. The energies are completely supporting us there. So just a lot happening. How's everyone been feeling? Anybody have any feedback about that? No one?
Yeah, I was just saying to Nia, hi, what's her name? Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hi.
I did watch that first video. So I
Okay.
watched. Yeah,
Okay,
I
great.
didn't get in last week, but I did watch it
Okay.
and tried the meditation as
Oh,
well.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I have been on heart calls before, so.
Okay, perfect. So you know what's going on.
Yeah, and I was just saying to Nia about how I plan to get to the Isle of Wight, but now since all this has happened, I'm stuck in England on the mainland, and my dream is to get down to the Isle of Wight because I sing and I'll get a chance to get singing jobs again. But I've been hanging in there and doing lots of meditations and getting through it, and that's helped. And that's what I do anyway. I have my own shrine here, so I meditate all the time. I've been doing it since I was very young. So,
That's
but
good.
yeah,
That's
but I
great.
do believe that it will turn out right. I always believe things will turn out right, even when they're terrible.
Good, good, good.
I went through
Yes, that's,
I
yeah,
went
so
through a
it's trusting.
I went through a very bad situation. Last year. So last year actually was the
Oh,
start of the
sorry.
bad year. I was a landlord and had some horrible tenants, and Nia knows about this, and so does Barbara. But yeah, and eventually, after it cost us a fortune, me and my husband, and court fees, we finally got through it and moved on from it. And
Good.
I've been in far worse situations in the past, and
Right.
I believe every time, and this is for everybody, you do get through it.
Yes,
Even
we will.
whatever you face, you get
Mhm.
through it.
Right.
I believe that
Exactly.
strongly.
Yes.
So
Yes, and absolutely. And we agreed as souls to do this work, as we all know. And so it is, and so my intention with the calls is to help give tools that connect us to our higher self, because our higher self is completely trusting this process and what's happening. So it's just getting connected there. So this week, because of the Aries energy and all the energies are so big, it's perfect to talk about the power of movement. And what I mean is moving our bodies and how we can use that. I know for me, movement is critical to my mental health, to my spiritual connection. It's everything. And so, I do it as often as I can. But everybody has their own, kind of own thing and what this looks like. So, but we all know what the benefits of movement are, but I feel.
oops. Hello.
Oh,
Uh
Jamie froze. Jamie, how do you really feel about that?
oh. Jamie.
She can't
Is for
move.
us and just our physical health, and of course our
Oh.
oh
Frozen.
She's not moving
There you
now.
are. You're
Oh, there
back.
she
I'm
is.
sorry. I'm sorry. So what was I saying? What did I leave off?
You were talking about the physical and
Okay, right.
Movement.
So
Yeah.
right. So, and our physical bodies obviously are going to affect how we function mentally and vice versa. So it's a synergistic relationship. But physically,
she's thinking about it.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh,
Wi-Fi
Oh
internet
dear.
yeah.
playing up.
Flipping computers.
oxygen, it also helps to, you can't hear me.
Now we can.
Yeah, you're back.
Physical also helps too.
Um, connect to our mental. Did I say that? And then also the mental, support. So I was just going through the benefits. It mobilizes our stress hormones. It decreases tension and inflammation, which I didn't realize the inflammation piece of it, but it makes sense. Improves our physical resilience to stress. It releases endorphins, serotonin, dopamine, although the brain, which I didn't realize. It also has, oh, shoot. Can you
You're
still
back.
hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So,
Oh, we were.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So sorry. I can't believe it.
It's not your fault. It's the computer.
Okay. Well, you know all the great things that it does. But you can use it as thing I wanted to mention quickly is that it does all these things. It lowers our cholesterol. It controls our blood sugar.
Mm.
I can try. You think I should reset my router?
we could do that, or if you want to call me, and I can share you.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to log in through my phone because I feel like the phone
Okay.
does much better. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. We'll be waiting right here for you.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So how has everybody else been feeling in this? I know for me, it's such an interesting thing because you feel like you get this inspiration to show up in a certain way and you gain some clarity, and then you want to dive forward, and then you get kind of a push back and no, I need to release more stuff. And so does anybody else feel like you're kind of in this, okay, just sit and wait because it hasn't settled yet, like where I'm going, what I'm feeling, what I'm being called to do in terms of how I show up, how I live my life, what I need to let go of. It's kind of powerfully all over the board. Like in 1 minute, I know this, and then the next minute's like, oh, but it's this.
Yeah.
Barbara, how are you feeling about that?
Well, I feel the same way, and it feels for me that there's a lot of it's like I can't be driven at all by ego anymore.
Yeah.
So anything that comes up, any direction that I've been kind of directed towards, if it's from fear or from ego, I think that there's all this energy behind it, but then I realize then it just kind of falls apart. So it's almost like I'm being really cleared and have to be really focused on what it is in my heart and what's in the highest good.
Right.
And so, but sometimes that could be really, could be painful and it could be confusing.
Yeah, because there's so much energy
just
hard. Even in your belief in something. So if I go, okay, this is clear, there's energy because I can move that way.
Yeah.
But that's not how you're supposed to be moving these days. And so,
yeah.
And that's the ego. It's like, the attachment to how we see ourselves and how we know ourselves to move. I know for me, I really am, I'm really, really thinking about, releasing the weight of my name. For me, the name Nia Peoples carries a different kind of a weight to it because it's a public name and it's a public persona. So it isn't what most people would think, in that I have ego wrapped around who she is as an actress, or who it's more about the responsibility I feel to always show up in a certain way for anyone who knows who I am. And that's a lovely, beautiful thing, but it's still ego.
Right.
So, and
there's so much expectation around it. Yeah, there's so much expectation.
And so I'm really considering going back to my birth name, and which can receive love in a way that my common name, Nia, it's easier for me to receive love without all the attachments of what my expectations of Nia does, or what those expectations are. It's much easier for me to receive from a cleaner place, almost, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
No, back, Jamie? I think you're muted.
Where is she?
Right.
There she is.
Does that work?
Yay.
Yay.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That was such a great conversation you were having, though. I loved it. Okay, so let's try this. I'm so sorry. Okay, so anyway, I was talking about the physical benefits of exercise, which I think we probably all understand. And really, I mean, you can use it as medicine. You know, I think that that's one of the biggest things too. I love that idea that it controls, you know, our blood pressure, can relieve pain, improve memory, and boosts our immune system, and does all this amazing, you know, all these amazing things for ourselves. There's so many benefits. But of course, you know, we can't ignore the connection between the mind and body. You know, whatever is experienced in the mind is experienced in the body. And we do store many emotions in our bodies, especially in our hips. So it's really important for us to pay attention to what's happening in our bodies. We don't want energy to get stuck there because, of course, you know, that starts to create disease in our bodies. But our bodies are always, always, always communicating with us. And so it's understanding, you know, that connection to our bodies and paying attention to that. And we're so used to focusing on our mind to understand everything. But our bodies are really a powerful tool or mirror, I guess, in a sense, letting us know what's happening. And oftentimes, I know this, I'm very guilty of this too, is that I, for many, many, many years, really rejected my body because I didn't like the way it looked. And so I didn't pay attention to it. And so many people do that. You know, I'm too thin, or I'm too fat, or I'm too hairy, or I'm too whatever. My body's not healthy, so they just ignore their body. But it's such an amazing, amazing tool. And so what's so awesome about, you know, movement and is that it allows us to bypass that inner critic that doesn't maybe like our body so much, or you know, it allows us to come into the present moment with our bodies and kind of bypass that. And for me, it's actually a form of meditation. I know many other people use moving meditation. But for me, exercise and moving my body is a huge way for me to connect. You know, I can sit on the couch for an hour and meditate and not get any information. I have a nice connection, but I don't necessarily get information. So, but when I work out, I get tons of it. I get tons of information. And so I think, you know, another reason to connect to our bodies is that our bodies don't lie. Where our mind sometimes will tell stories about what's really happening. So, you know, people say, oh no, I'm fine, I'm not stressed out, but they can barely move because their body is so tense. And so listening, that's another reason to listen to our bodies. But it's always, always, always going to show us how we're out of alignment. Anybody else can relate to that?
Well, I'm actually disabled. I've got 2 artificial legs.
Okay.
I've had it ever since I was a kid. So I've learned to be strong since the age of 9, really, since I had the second operation, which removed my left leg. So 3 was when I lost the right. But it's never stopped me because I've had that determination all my life to prove doctors wrong that I could walk, to prove everybody wrong. I'm such a stubborn so-and-so. And I, you know, I don't let anybody tell me otherwise. But I mean, at the moment, I'm going through the menopause as well, which is, yeah, because I'm up and down with my emotions. So at the moment, I am feeling fat and going, I hate myself. but it's just, I know it's just a reaction to the menopause. So again, just deal with it, you know. So, but I can do some movement. I did take dance classes at drama
great.
college in the 80s. I studied drama and singing, and I did take movement classes, and thank God for a German dance teacher who took me under a wing and helped me to move much better than I ever would have. So I can't thank her enough, that woman. She was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I can do
Yeah.
some movement.
Good.
And yeah.
So you would
So,
have a lot of body awareness. I mean, really
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can get sore in very hot weather, and I have to be really careful because I've got 2 artificial legs, so my legs are inside the artificial legs. So in hot
Right.
weather, it can be an absolute nightmare. Yeah. But I deal with it, you know, just get on with it. part of my
Yeah.
life. So it's
Yep.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right. That's great. Thank you for sharing
So-
that.
yeah, no problem.
You know,
Anyone
Jamie,
else?
Jamie, it's really interesting when you, for me, when you talk about, you know, the body not lying, the messages aren't always the same. But you're right, the body doesn't lie, and you get them. I mean, I've been an athlete my whole life, so for me, my answer is always, I know how to fix it. I do this, I eat like this, I exercise like that, I do like this. But there's another aspect to it that's really being asked to pay attention to. So, okay, for me, there is an ego wrapped up in that. And so the question for my body becomes, stop, slow down. How can you listen to your body, Nia, without interjecting what it is you think you already know according to who you have been in the past?
Right.
And that is a delicate, you know, because I know how to take charge of it,
Right.
not letting me. I mean, I just broke my left toe last week. The day after I jammed my right one, and I lay down on the bed and just like, bah! I'm like, okay, yeah.
So what is that telling you?
To watch out for the corner of my bed that likes to, you know. Well, for me, I mean, I'm getting ready to go to Tulum tomorrow for 3 weeks. And it's really, we don't get to like take ourselves out of the equation and ask for that deep knowing. So the question becomes, why are you going? What is it that you would like to do while you're there? And the answer is, I want to write. And I want to be still.
Awesome.
And I want to write. And I want to breathe. But there was this other aspect that was coming and going, I'm going to get a trainer while I'm there. I'm going to get. Well, that's off the table now.
It's funny how the universe works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take her right out. Yeah.
That's why I was laughing.
Yes. Oh, good. Anyone else want to add anything about that? Okay. So throughout history, humans have used movement and dance as a way to celebrate, pray, connect, heal. I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually, if you take a look. But the idea is that they're using movement with intention. And so the idea is that I want us to think about using movement as a way to move the energy through our bodies and setting an intention by doing that. Barbara, I don't think you'll mind if I share this story, but she has shared with me that if she's wanting to shift her energy, if she's going to go for a walk, she'll set the intention at the beginning of the walk that by the end, her energy will be shifted. And so, and that's such a great idea. That's such a great way to do it. So that happens to me sometimes when I, go to exercise. I'll say, okay, these are my intentions. This is what I'm going to do with this. And so it's helping us to create a focus, but also just, being able to use this as a tool intentionally, I think, which is really powerful. And especially with all the purging that's happening right now for all of us, movement is such a perfect focus right now, and helping us to move it through our bodies. So I think one thing that's really key, though, is that finding something that really resonates with you. Something that you really love. Now, for me personally, I like really intense energy, exercise. I like intense cardio. I use weights. My exercise has to be really intense in order for it to really shift my energy. I don't have very grounded energy. And so I feel like in order to take myself out, I have to get really focused on my body. Other people don't. I know, Barbara, you typically go for a walk, and that's perfect for you. It works really well. Other people, whatever it is, if it's dance or yoga or whatever, I think it's really important to find something that really resonates with you. I love YouTube. I use it for everything, but I just want to say something about, if you're not sure what you're interested in doing, you want to explore something new, YouTube is such a great resource because there are videos about every kind of exercise or movement out there. So, you know, you can just start searching different things. And I guarantee you there's a video about it, and with all different kind of teachers and instructors. So it's just keep searching for something until you find something that you really love. Of course, there are all different kinds of movement. I just kind of wanted to touch on 4 today that kind of, I feel like really touched me. And number 1 being cardio. Cardio is a huge one for me because it's, like I said, it's the intensity. But, you know, it can be brisk walking, gardening. I mean, you know, it can be cleaning your house, you know, running, cycling, playing a sport, but really whatever gets your heart rate going, you know. And of course, we already know all the amazing benefits of it, releasing the endorphins, the serotonin, all those amazing hormones. But cardio, like I said, is, you know, for me, it's a form of meditation. And so when I'm doing it, I get so much information. I have all these aha moments. And I think for me, because it takes my left brain out of the equation so well, and it allows my right brain. So today, while I was exercising, I had already put the talk together, but at the end, I'm like, I hadn't even stretched or anything yet. I'm like, all this stuff came to me and I was just writing it down, and all these things I wanted to add, you know. And so, but the other thing that I do is I use affirmations while I'm exercising, especially while I'm doing cardio. So, you know, I'll just say to myself, I am powerful, or, you know, I am in alignment, or whatever comes up, whatever I feel like, or I'm, you know, I am, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. But
It's 'cause
anyway,
you're perfect.
I am.
I am love.
speechless.
I am love.
Beautiful.
I am love. I am love. Okay. Thank you. So I'm like, I could not think of anything. But you know, it's being able to, you know, again, connect to that higher place. So for me, that energy, or, you know, the energy moves right through my body with the cardio, and it takes me to that place. And so it takes me to that place of creation. It bypasses my mind, takes me to the higher place, to my higher self. And so as I'm doing those affirmations, I'm actually in this place of creation. So it's pretty cool. But you know, and then it's also, you're taking deep breaths. And so with me, when I'm taking deep breaths, I will set the intention that I'm taking in energy, and the energy of light is filling all of my cells in my body. So it's like using it in an intentional way. Sometimes I'll say, okay, you know, today, you know, if I'm really struggling with something, like Barbara does with the walk, I'll say, okay, by the end of this, I know that I'm going to be in alignment today. Or I set the intention that if I didn't eat something that was so healthy before, I'll say, my intention is that I really want to make sure I detox my body. Does anyone else use cardio?
I miss it a lot.
Do ya?
I do. I miss it a lot because
Yeah.
with all the traveling, it sort of went by the wayside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But just the
what do you like
breathing,
to
the
do?
flow of the energy, just the flow of it.
Yeah. What do you usually do?
Well, I haven't in a while, but you know, when I was living at the Cove, I stand-up paddle constantly, and I mean like racing.
Right.
So it's a lot of upper body and core,
Yeah.
and surfing is a lot of, when you're paddling, that's a lot of upper body, and it's breath, and you're getting the energy of the ocean. I miss the energy that's flowing through. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
I do, if I really am out of whack and I really need some help, I go hiking in the mountains. There's nothing better for me than be by the water. There's something about the rhythm of, when I get in sync with the rhythm of like the river, and actually move in sync with it, with nature, that's kind of my zone. That's my place. So that's what I do. If I really need to move it to alignment, I go into the mountains.
Yeah. And do you feel like when you're doing that, it's like, the exercise is more intense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like we need that intense energy to shift something. My mom was telling me, she's 73. She was telling me yesterday that she was a runner before, but she hasn't done it in a long time. And she walks, she's active. But she said the energy was so crazy in her house yesterday that she went for a run.
Oh my gosh, good for her.
It just made me laugh because I'm thinking, I know that feeling of just needing to, you have all this energy pent up, you know, how do you get rid of it? And she said, and she kind of like laughed at herself. She goes, I thought I did pretty good, you know, so she didn't blow out a leg or anything. So that was good. But anyway, so the next thing I wanted to mention was stretching. And so it's so interesting stretching because it seems kind of like a no-brainer, but who takes time to stretch? Does anybody here stretch on a regular basis? You do? Every day?
You know what? I'm kind of at the age that I really need to stretch, because if I don't, my body gets really sore. Like when I was younger, I didn't stretch as much, but now I know if I don't stretch, I pay for it. I get sore. So
Yeah,
I
right.
really make it a practice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it does help keep the circulation with your muscles. It helps them to be healthier. It helps to keep you flexible, as you were saying. It improves your posture, which is, and this is such a big thing too. If you think about posture, how important that is, you know, it helps with the energy flow. It helps with the oxygen flow. It helps you feel more confident. You feel more in alignment. You know, your energy is stronger, is healthier, I think. You know, if you're crouched over, you're just, you know, your energy is like kind of stopped. And so I was like, oh, wow, that's really great. And I do have at work, I have a Post-it note on my computer that says sit up straight because I know that I feel better. And when I'm talking to my clients, it's much easier for me to, you know, I feel like I have a better conversation. I feel like the energy flow is so much better. And it also, you're taking deeper breaths and not such shallow breathing. But the other interesting thing, which I didn't realize too, but it makes perfect sense, is that when you're stretching, it allows more nutrients to go to your muscles. It's like, huh, wow. But it reduces soreness. Of course, it relieves the tension. You know, and of course, it's going to help us have more focus, bring us into the present moment. It brings us into the awareness of our bodies and to where our bodies are holding energy. Because if you're feeling stiff, there's a chance that your body is holding energy there. And so stretching obviously is releasing that energy, and when I do stretching, I do use affirmations, or I set an intention that I'm releasing any energy that doesn't belong to me, or any energy that I don't need anymore. And you know, it does bring me into the place where I just try to honor my body. I don't know, it just slows me down, I think. And so, I really like stretching. I probably don't do it as much as I should. But I think that, it's really powerful, more powerful than you think. Were you going to say something, Marianne?
Yeah, there's a comment in the chat box that, and that says, Jane says her Uncle Bob, who's in his late 80s and still bikes in the Colorado Rockies weekly, he's stretched every day for 45 minutes since he was in his 20s.
Wow.
And he swears by it. So just wanted to share that from the comment there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So I learned some tips about stretching while I was doing some research. And so the idea is you never want to do a bouncing stretch. I know there was a time when that was kind of popular, but really it needs to be static. And you don't want to use stretching as a warm-up. I think, you know, there was a time when people would say, oh, are you going to warm up and stretch? You don't want to stretch a cold muscle. You know, if you need to stretch before you are going to, you know, play a sport or something, you want to warm up for a little bit of time beforehand. It's important to hold a stretch for 15 to 60 seconds. And you want to stretch 3 to 4 times. And it's important to stretch 2 to 3 days a week. So, and it just feels so good.
Do you ever use resistance against that? I know when we were, whenever I'm really, if I'm really wanting a deep stretch, let's say it's this leg that I'm wanting to stretch more. Did I just raise my hand and say it's this leg?
Yeah,
I have had 0 alcohol. Just letting you know.
we believe you.
Woo! Okay. So if this is my right leg and I want to be able to stretch it like back behind my head, let's say. So, and I can only go this far. What I would do is put pressure against it and engage this muscle and then release and engage
Yes.
and release and engage it, you know, so you put pressure against it as you're trying to stretch it, and then as you release it, you'll find that it starts to stretch more.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yep. That's great. Yes. I think I've done that without realizing it. Yeah.
Jamie, can you do it sitting down? You see, my worry is when I'm going to fall over. I'm having
Yeah.
2 artificial legs. I can't balance very well. If
Yes.
I'm in one position, I can, you know. So sitting down, I could only like do the arm stretches, couldn't I? I mean,
Sure.
so
But I
it's
find,
possible.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's possible, yeah, to do it sitting down and just do the arm
Absolutely.
stretches. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I
That's
find some of my most important stretching actually is in my neck and my shoulders. You know what I mean? And so you can, I mean, you could do that. You could do that anytime, any place, you know what I mean? Sitting or, yeah.
Okay, thanks
So,
for that.
yeah. And when I stretch my legs, I'm always sitting down. I mean, I'm on the ground. Yeah. Yeah. But I think the other thing too, I'll bring up YouTube because it's always my go-to, but there's so many resources there. So, I mean, you might be able to find a stretching program that would work for you.
For a disabled person. Yeah, I will look. I'll look on YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Okay. Anyone have anything else to say about stretching? Okay. So the next one is yoga. And yoga is what yoga means in Sanskrit. It means it's about coming into union. It's about bringing you into harmony and at one with all that is. And so it's about connecting the mind, body, and spirit. And there are so many health benefits, flexibility, strength, breathing, focus. But the specific purpose of yoga is to actually get us into alignment. It helps to cultivate the awareness of the energy and what's happening in your body, you know, how it's flowing through your body or not flowing through your body. It actually works to remove energetic blocks that keep you from, you know, everything from being healthy to experience life the way you want to. But it opens us to creativity, healing, and union of self. And it really encourages self-care. But what I love is that it purposely aligns our chakras. And chakras are energy centers that we have in our body. And we have 7 main chakras, and each one of them is tied to a different part of our body and operates differently throughout our bodies. So we have a root chakra, which is really about stability in the physical world. It's about our physical needs. It's actually located at the base of our spine. We have a sacral chakra, which is located like in our pelvic area right below our belly button. And it's connected to creativity, sexuality, our emotions. Solar plexus, which is just above, which is about power and self-confidence. We have a heart chakra, which is about love, compassion, forgiveness. Our throat chakra obviously is about communication, speaking your truth, and, you know, listening also. It's about good communication. Our third eye, which is about intention or our perception of things. And then our crown chakra, which is about divine knowledge or spiritual enlightenment. So there are many different poses that actually help to align each one of these chakras. So if you're having, you know, issues in a certain part of your life or with a certain part of your body, there's a yoga pose, or probably several, that could help you get back into to alignment and help to unblock any energy that you have there. For instance, I was talking about earlier about our hips, and we carry a lot of emotion there, and the hips are connected to our sacral chakra, which is the chakra of our emotions. And so there's a pose called pigeon pose, which I've done many times, that helps to, it's considered a hip opener. So it helps to open up your hips and open up the energy. And I remember one time I was doing it and I felt this big whoosh of energy, and it was kind of amazing because I was like, wow, that just released a bunch of energy that I was keeping there. I know I've heard, this has never happened to me, but I have heard other people who practice yoga talk about after, going to a yoga class, they just, all these emotions come up. And so they, because it's starting to unblock things in our bodies and it's bringing up emotion so that we can release it. People just get really, really, really sad. Is there anyone, and then feel like they need to release it? So does anyone on the call do yoga?
Barbara does. I have, but I don't do anything regularly.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I love it, but it doesn't work into my schedule right now. But it's pretty amazing. It is really amazing. And I just love how it just, it's really the intention of it is to get you into alignment. But there are all different kinds of yoga too. There's restorative yoga, which is, if you have an injury or something, or you're recovering from something, it's very gentle and it's some stretching. And then there's hot yoga, which is my favorite, of course, because it's the more intense version. And somebody's trying to get into the pigeon pose? Somebody say that. I saw the chat pop up really quick. But yeah, so there's, and then there's all different kinds of yoga. And again, I will redirect you to YouTube, because if you put it in and, they're going to be, I did it today, actually. I was trying to see if I could come up with some people, but there are so many people that I think you just would have to go and find someone that really you connect with and try some different people out. But there is one person that I have, I've done her videos on YouTube, and her name is Leslie Fightmaster. So if anybody wants some place to start, I really liked her video. And it was really just about stretching. It wasn't an intense workout video. It was really just a video that was about an overall stretch. And it was really good. I thought she was really good, really helpful. Does anybody want to say anything else about yoga?
Could you please tell me the name of that person again?
Her name is Leslie Fightmaster.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
I have been trying, I did yoga using YouTube on my TV for about a week and a half. I really enjoyed it, but I only had found one lesson that I could do, and I got tired of that one lesson. So now I'm more comfortable using YouTube, and I really want to do yoga more. So yeah. I'm hoping I do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, really just look for something, very beginner, something that's really, because I think, because I'm not as good at stretching as I should be, I'm not that flexible as I should be. And so I feel the same way too. That's, I think, why I always gravitate to hot yoga, because it warms your body up so much, you know what I mean, while you're doing it. So but if you're in your living room,
where I don't have air conditioner and it's 96 degrees, I'm already hot.
Oh, all right. Well, then that's perfect for you. There you go. You don't need to do hot yoga because you can already do it. All right. Well, you're all set. You're all set. Okay. Well, that's good. So I think but there are so many resources there. So just start going through, and if, watch somebody for 5 minutes and you're like, they don't resonate with me, just go to the next one. So, Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if hot yoga is better for losing weight. That's a great question. I mean, sweating, I know that's one of the ways that our bodies release fat. And it probably would get your heart rate beating faster, you know. I don't know. That's a really great question. I would Google that. I think I will after the call. Thank you.
I think it depends on your body. I mean, I've done both hot yoga and regular yoga. I love hot yoga because it cleanses, you know, when you sweat, you're cleansing everything. You're just cleansing. And so there is this, you know, you're losing a lot of water, and your heart rate is up because of the heat. But you do have to pay attention to how your body is responding to it, because it's not great for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. Some people you wouldn't make it through a hot yoga class because it's
Right.
pretty intense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are yoga classes that aren't as hot as the usual ones. And
Right.
those are even better. I like those even better. They're hot. I sweat, but they're not, I'm going to die.
Right. Right. It's not like a sweat lodge. Okay. So, so the last thing I wanted to talk about was dancing, because I love to dance. And I think dance is really, really, really powerful because it gives us freedom. There's so much freedom in dancing. You know, obviously you're going to get the physical benefits of moving your body, but it's about self-expression. It's about creativity. You know, it frees us up emotionally and mentally, because if you just lose yourself, you get lost in the beat, in the rhythm of the music, and it takes you to a different place. And so it makes it so easy to transcend, you know, our mental, you know, and especially if you're doing freestyle dancing, you know, you can just let it all hang out. I know that those are activities a lot of times at the mind, body, spirit, you know, events and things like that, because it's just an amazing experience to just let go and just let your body move the way it wants to, and just feel the music, and it's very freeing. But it does shift your energy for sure. It definitely does. Yeah. So the other thing too is when we dance, we move our hips. Again, that's, you know, releasing all that energy in our hips, and releasing the emotion. And you know, it's helping to align your sacral chakra, which is connected to creativity too. So again, it's going to connect us to the higher. And of course, every culture has dance in it, which I think is so awesome. Of course, you know, and it's because it's a natural movement of our body. It just is to dance. It's a natural expression of who we are. Think about little kids. And you know what I mean? The music comes on and they just start moving their bodies, because that's what we do. And it's about having an experience, you know, and it helps us transcend all space and time. It really does. Then you want to talk about their experience with dance?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can shake my hips quite a lot, actually. I'm pretty good at that, even though I have got the, you know, the disability. I taught, that dance teacher helped me do that. So yeah, I do that.
Awesome.
And do whatever. Exactly. I can't move I don't, you know, I haven't got the ankles. So I move how I want to move. And
Sure.
I do it when I'm singing in gigs. Yeah, I just move to the music.
I've seen you do it.
You've seen me do it. When I was on singing Fame with you on stage. Yeah,
right.
I remember. In Italy. Yes. I know you've seen me do it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, thank you.
Yeah. Dance is really powerful. I think even if you're not the one dancing, I went to my first ballet performance when I lived in Boston. My friend, she had tickets to the Boston Ballet, and I had never been. And she said, she couldn't go. She gave me her tickets, and I was never into ballet. I didn't learn ballet when I was a little girl. I'm not a very graceful person. So, I mean, it would have been really funny, but it's definitely not necessarily my thing. And, when I went, I just remember sitting there, I was completely mesmerized watching their movement. and just watching them. And I was really surprised by my reaction. I mean, I wasn't sure I was really even going to like it, because I just was never drawn to it. But I was so drawn into them being in alignment and you know, it just sucked me right in. It was so powerful. I'll never forget it.
Do you have a favorite ballet?
No.
You don't? Oh, mine's Swan Lake.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's the traditional, but mine is Swan Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It was
watching them do
amazing to
that.
me. It was amazing. So I wasn't even dancing, and I was just, it was like,
Just watching.
wow. Yeah. So that was really powerful. Yeah. Does anyone else have anything to add about dancing?
You know, I have to say, because I've taught it so much in choreography and everything, and the just move, just put the music on, and now's a great time to do it, because when you do that, you get more in touch with your own flow, and it
Absolutely.
isn't about expertise. The students that I had, that I'll tell you, you know, most of the time that I would spend, if it wasn't a right proper dance class, meaning it was a movement class, I would spend time a lot with the lights very, very low, so that they had the freedom to move as
Yes.
they felt like moving, and it connected them
Right.
to themselves so that they then can move the way they're
Yes.
being directed to move. It's an interesting thing. You don't want to disconnect yourself from it, and it's a beautiful way just to put the music on and let it flow through your body with zero judgment, lights
Yes.
down, as long as you don't trip on the bed like I did that in full daylight. The graceful person that I am. But yeah, it's really, really a powerful spiritual tool, I think,
Yes.
to allow yourself that privilege of just
Yeah.
feeling how the music moves you, you know?
Yes.
It really is.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. So, it is really powerful. And I think that that's a thing too. I was thinking about that too. When do I just dance around my house without anyone around? I don't. And I'm thinking, why? Because you love to dance. I mean, I love to dance. I love music. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to start doing that, you know, because I think we do, you know, if you're out someplace with your friends, I mean, you probably don't completely let go. Or if you're at an event, you don't completely let go when other people are around. Well, some people do, but I don't. So yes, I think giving yourself permission to do it and do it, you know, in a place where you obviously feel safe. But and I love that, Nia, that you turn the lights down so that people could do it and feel good. You know what I mean? And not feel self-conscious.
No, and that's when they became more confident, because they somewhere when the lights are down and they allow themselves to connect with that, then they know how they move. They already have the switch. But when you
Right.
put the lights on and people are watching, now they have to get through all the eyeballs that are watching in order to touch themselves, in order to feel it
Exactly.
themselves. And
Exactly.
so this is a perfect time while everybody's locked down inside to turn that music on and get to know your body.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. I think it's really, really powerful. Yeah.
Jamie.
Yes.
When I have done different workshops, and one of the first things we do, or even when I do one-on-one virtual or mini retreats with clients, one of the first things we do is movement and
Yes.
dancing. And even guys, you know, they could feel uncomfortable or whatever. However, what my suggestion is that they close their eyes.
Yes.
And you know, and I'll do the same thing so nobody's watching them.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh-huh.
And it seems to there's to really release a lot of energy, at least at the beginning, before even, so the process has begun anyways before they enter the room. However, this is just a whoosh of energy that comes out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it also, but it gets you connected. You know what I mean? Like it helps to get you into alignment. So,
Absolutely.
so then you're ready to create with, you know, with whatever event you're participating in.
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. When I was getting my coaching certification, we danced at every break because it helped to get people, you know, moving and get you back into alignment. And it was a great release. So anyway, it's really, I think we all need to do it more often. So next week, I want everyone to report back about their dancing throughout this week. But really, I mean, the truth is it doesn't, and you know, I touched on 4 here. But really, I mean, it's just whatever resonates with you in terms of movement and getting your body moving, whatever gets you into alignment, that's the most important thing, especially right now. Like I said, we're being asked to have these energies move through us. They're coming up for release, and movement through your body is one of the best ways to move the energy through. So figuring that out for yourself, and it's really just being able to connect, you know, allowing the energy to come through, but then also connecting to our higher self. Again, it's always about that connection, because our higher self understands what's happening and is in a place of trust of all that's going on right now. So it's about connecting there and getting to that place so we can release the energy that's coming up, but then also connecting and understanding that it's all part of the plan, that we're safe, that everything is okay, and just trust this process that we're all going through, right? Yeah. So does anybody want to say anything else? Anyone have anything to add? No. I wanted to, so next week, I plan to do breath work next week as a tool, but the person that I'd like to bring on as my guest speaker is not available. So I'd like to switch the days. So next weekend, I'll be doing sound and color. And then the following week, I'll be doing breath work. So I just wanted to mention that I have someone who's really great to bring to talk about breath work and to help us go through a little exercise. So I'm really excited about that. But anyway, but thank you all so much for participating. And it's really fun for me to get to talk to everyone and put these calls together. So thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been great.
Thank you, Jamie.
So I'll remember 7:30 next week because I had it as 8 o'clock today.
Oh no.
That's why I came. Yeah, I thought it was 8 o'clock. Yeah. So I have it on my calendar now, so I'll be good.
Okay. Okay, good. Good. Well, I'm glad you joined us. It's going to be, it's recorded, so yeah.
Okay.